Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Airspeed Prime here at my next Star Wars Rebels episode review. This one's going to be for Season 1, Episode 10, Idiot's Array. And yeah, this was a really fun episode. Maybe not as, I suppose, important, meaningful as the last kind of 3 episodes. Like the whole Empire Day arc and then the last episode. But it was just fun getting to see a kind of younger Lando, see how he interacts with these characters, and it just, even though it wasn't like, I suppose, really plot focused, it was just a kind of fun episode. You know, it is kind of pointing out some of the kind of, I suppose, flaws with the series, in that there's no real arc just yet. You know, there's no real main plot really going on, and it's kind of getting to the stage where we're very quickly going to need one of them, and part of that I think comes into play with the fact that Hera is still a very mysterious character in terms of what exactly she's trying to do. Like, even the book A New Dawn, like, she still doesn't reveal exactly what she's doing all around the place, and hopefully that comes out soon in terms of what exactly their goal is going forward. As far as I'm aware, it's a 16 episode season, I think, so there's not that many episodes in the first season left to actually resolve anything. And from what we've been hearing, this isn't a show that's going to have a massive number of seasons, so I'm really wondering, I suppose, where exactly the story is going. And, you know, as I said, while this is a fun episode, does it really put that much into play? Potentially, you know, Lando Calrissian is a pretty interesting character, and the fact that he kind of owes them one is interesting, and clear setup for him coming back at some point, I think, is very interesting. But yeah, basic idea of the episode is that Lando beats Zeb at the card game Sabacc and wins Chopper because Zeb betted Chopper for some reason. Kanan was involved in this, and he then hires the crew basically to help him with this mission, and he offers them some money plus returning Chopper to actually make this happen. And, you know, the mission, I suppose, is not really that important. That's maybe set up for Lando's plot, whatever he's doing. He traded effectively Hera for this puffer pig, I think is what they called it, which can sniff out precious minerals on Lothal, which I think is known for being a place rich in minerals, and he's going to try and pay them back at some point, but maybe he doesn't even need to do that. Either way, they're set up for him coming back at some point to help them. And, you know, it was interesting by itself, but I suppose some of the more important parts of the episode were just that you gave Hera a little extra focus in this episode, and she and Sabine have definitely kind of much needed that, and so having her kind of be part of the bargain, basically, you're going to be this guy's servant effectively, and he sort of hinted at a plan of escape to her, but didn't actually tell her that, and it was kind of, he had complete confidence in her, having only met her for like a couple of hours, yet the other crew were like, wait, we didn't plan this out perfectly, and Lando's just kind of like, she doesn't need to, she knows what she's doing, which was, I suppose, interesting what he kind of ended up doing for the group, and that his arrival on scene kind of created all these kind of fractions within the group, but he was confident in their ability to kind of get things done, and she just very quickly managed to get her way out, just with the serving tray, just beating up everyone, escaping on the escape pod, and so on. And yeah, you know, the stakes weren't like massive in the episode. Like, you never really thought anything overly dramatic was going to happen. No one was going to get killed, really. Especially like the villain of the episode. What was his name? As Morgad or something like that. Don't even know what species he was. They didn't really say it, but maybe he'll come back at some point. He'll be one of those kind of recurring villain kind of characters like the Vizago guy and so on. But yeah, it was just a fun episode, as I said. Like the Lando was definitely the highlight of the episode. Just I think it was definitely Billy D. Williams, I think, doing the voice. I think we'd sort of known beforehand that he was in the show, and we were just kind of waiting to see where that actually played out. So really fun to see him in there, and I thought they kind of played him all kind of perfectly, you know, without like just without it directly, I suppose, setting up where he is in like Empire Strikes Back and stuff like that. It did a decent job. Like he clearly doesn't have the Millennium Falcon at this point in time, um, which that would be really interesting if they actually used this show and kind of had Lando become this kind of recurring character from time to time, and have him show up with the Millennium Falcon at some point, because maybe I'm misremembering Empire Strikes Back, but the idea was that Han won it in like a card game or something like that from Lando, and then he kind of lent it to Lando in Return of the Jedi, and that's what he was saying, you know, like don't scratch it or something like that. I think that's the idea. So Lando's the, I suppose, original character that we know who owns this ship. So that would be cool, and I'd almost like it if that at some point, like, maybe something happens to the ghost and he shows up, and to return the favor to them, he like lets them use the Millennium Falcon or something like that for an episode to do whatever run they have to do before they get the ghost back. That would be a really fun connection, just knowing that the crew of Star Wars Rebels were once on the ship that is so important to the original trilogy. That would be a really cool connection. Just seeing the kind of origins of that ship maybe come out in Rebels. But yeah, that was the little point I had. The card game Sabacc, just given that I think this is one of the first times we've actually seen the cards actually on screen in anything official. I'd really like it if they actually made a set of cards like that and just released them and allowed people to play the game. I think that would be a really cool thing, you know, even just for people at conventions to just play a Star Wars card game that's like in-universe thing. Because as far as I'm aware, I just actually checked it up on Wikipedia. It does actually have official rules. Like they have actually created rules for this in-universe, and they apparently released a set of the cards, but they were like super special edition. You had to go through some hoops to get it. So it'd be cool if they did a kind of mass release kind of release of the game, because it seems pretty cool. It seems like a kind of poker type game, but it's got all these kind of unique hand types. Like the reason the episode's called Idiot's Array is because that's kind of like the full house of this game, that like is one of the best hands you can get. So that'd be fun just to get. I always like those in-universe type games. Like in Avatar and Korra, I wish they would release like an actual official Pi Show game and tell you how to play it. But yeah, there's that. In terms of the action, actually, there was the kind of they go through the blockade. Obviously, I liked that the puffer pig played a role in that. Again, showing what Lando, the kind of what he did with the dynamic of the group, in that the puffer pig separated the crew into different sections, and that you had people who would usually be in one section now part of the other section. So Kanan had to be the captain and actually fly the ship, while Hera was kind of behind, instructing him and giving them all an idea of just how hard it is for Hera to be such an impressive pilot. Ezra was taken out of the picture. Chopper, because they kind of used him as money basically, was only listening to Lando. That was a fun dynamic to have in the episode. So that was pretty cool. I'm kind of wondering now, like, did Lando actually have any interactions in the original movies with R2-D2 that maybe give a hint that he had a droid himself? Probably not, but that's just a thought I had there. But yeah, that was a cool scene, just seeing the crew separated like that, and all the kind of chaos that went on. Wasn't anything, again, you know, massively important. Obviously, they were alerted that the Empire knew who they were when Zeb hit off the controls, and then they went down to the planet. It worked. But yeah, that's the main thing in the episode. It was a really fun episode. It was just, there's not as much to discuss in terms of real big character focus and reveals on the same level of, say, the last couple of episodes. Yeah, the only real issue I have is just that, you know, as fun as it wasn't addressing whatever the plot is of the series, and that brings up the main issue with the whole series. I think is just that, what is the main plot? Like, what is the goal of this series? Right now, it's just they're a crew there's some interesting stuff going on with them, but we really don't know what their goal is apart from mess up the Empire wherever possible. And obviously Ezra and Kanan kind of train with each other. Which brings up, I suppose the last main point is just we got the reveal with Ezra's new lightsaber that it's actually also a blaster. Now, someone in the comments for my last review actually informed me about this. I didn't actually know that that was the case. But yeah, that's a really cool idea, actually, that he doesn't have to carry around a blaster and a lightsaber, in that it's just a kind of 2-in-1 type thing. I'd be very interested to see, can both work at the same time? Like, if he's locked, when he has the actual blade of his lightsaber activated, can he still fire, or is it one or the other? Because that'd be a really cool thing. It seems almost like unfair if you actually can just, like you're in a like sword lock with someone and the gun is pointing at them and you just fire it and kill them. Like that seems really like unfair way in the fight just to have this kind of sword gun thing. So maybe they'll kind of make it fair to other people by saying you can only do one or the other, which I suppose would make sense with the basic idea on how lightsabers work with the whole crystal thing. Like, I assume the reason that the blast was blue is because it's effectively the blast is like the power of a lightsaber in terms of like killing power or something like that. I'm not really sure, but that's such a cool idea for his gun that if he needs to, he can just pull it out and go undercover. No one knows he's a Jedi. And if he needs to have a sword fight, he can just switch to lightsaber mode. That's a really cool idea for his weapon. So very interested to see about if it works both at the same time. But yeah, that's the review for the most part. There's not really a massive amount else to say. But yeah, that's been the review. In the comments, let me know what your thoughts were on this episode, Idiots Array. But for now, that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.